everyone, how are you doing today? Welcome back to the XSP Green Monster channel. My name is Riley, and today, as I'm sure you can tell by the thumbnail, we are going to be going over my car audio box, as I call it, and some of the tools that I always carry with me when I'm going out to work on car audio, whether it be someone else's car, my car, or whatever it may be. So, I hope that you are enjoying the videos. I've been trying to put out as much content as I can, and I've been trying to have a little bit more energy since sometimes I can be a little unenergetic. So I've been trying to show a little bit more of my energy so these videos are more entertaining to watch, because I know when I watch videos it's not entertaining when the person doesn't have a lot of energy or isn't conveying it. So I've been trying to step up my energy a little bit. This stuff does excite me. I'm having a good time with YouTube, so I do really appreciate everyone who's subscribed to me and everyone who keeps supporting the channel. On that note, if you enjoy the video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment if you have any criticisms for me, or if you just like the video, or if there's a video you want to see. So let's get right into it. We've got my big box of stuff right here. Next, kind of pulled it out of its hole over there. Alright, so here we go. My big box of car audio. As you can see, it is in an old DC box. This is actually the one that my Recon kit came in for my level 5s. And I'm just going to kind of be pulling stuff out here. Anything that I always like to carry with me when I work on cars is going to be going over here. And anything else is just kind of part of my collection of stuff will stay in the box. Alright, so once we get into it, you can see here is the first tool that I always bring with me. These are extremely cheap. They're from O'Reilly's. You can see I had to glue on the handles there. They're automatic wire strippers. I have to say the wire cutters work poorly. The wire crimpers work poorly, although they do work. You can see they kind of flex off axis, so they don't crimp too well. But they do work really well. I crimp up to Sky-Hi 8 gauge in this. They don't work super well with Sky-Hi stuff, since the Sky-Hi car audio gear and most car audio wire is a super soft jacket. But any hard jacket, these work extremely well. So, highly recommend them. These are like 10 bucks at O'Reilly's. Always bring them with me. They always make it so much easier. First one right there. Number 2 is a good set of wire cutters, especially when you're doing bigger jobs. These are Sky-Hi's car audios 1/0 wire cutters. And I'll try and leave also as many of the links to these tools as I can in the description. So these are the Sky-Hi car audio 1/0 wire cutters, as you can see, and I'll try and do some more close-ups here of them. It's not gonna focus, but there we go. These are Sky-Hi car 1/0. This is my second pair of them. The other one lasted about 2 years. These work great. They have a nice little clip. They have strippers as well in there that work very well, actually. And they have a nice little adjustment pin so you can adjust how far they do strip. So if you move this pin all the way out, you can see it strips less, and when you move it all the way in, it will strip more wire. So that's always a good thing to have. I really enjoy them. I think they're great. They're not too much. They're like 13 bucks on Sky-Hi, and they cut up to 1/0 wire. They do copper only, but they're not too expensive, so it's worth grabbing a pair, even if you're gonna cut other wires with them. The next tool that I always like to carry, especially now in today's car audio age with all the connectors, is these. These I bought fairly recently. These aren't one of my oldest tools, but I love these. So they're ratcheting crimpers, so once you crimp down on something, it's not gonna let go. So once you crimp, it'll actually hold there for you, and it won't let go until it has reached the very end. And I believe you can actually adjust that with this pin right here. You can adjust how far it will crimp. And this crimps up to 8 gauge connections. This actually came with my Anderson connectors that are on my custom, my Anderson connectors that are on my subwoofers. I put Anderson connectors on so I can take them out a little bit easier, and I bought these with them and they work fantastic. I use them for everything I possibly can. Highly recommend them. They are also about 10 to 15 bucks, and they are amazing. Extremely heavy built construction, as you can see there. They are just beasts, and I've never had them fail on me. They always provide a strong crimp, which is very important. The next thing, and this I won't always bring, but I do bring it sometimes, and this is my SMD AMM1. So this is a car audio multi-tool, basically. And as you can see, if I have battery, but it'll turn on there. It's from DMOR Engineering and obviously Steve Mead Designs. And you can measure voltages with it. You can do DC min max, so it tracks min and max, AC currents and volts. Also has a clipping indicator, power voltage and the percent power voltage, your AC frequency and impedance. This is just amazing, live power and dyno power. Just an amazing tool to have. They are extremely expensive, so they're not necessarily a tool for everyone if you can't afford it. I would recommend other things before this if you don't have the money to spare to buy one of these, but if you do, I highly recommend this or any of the SMD meters. They work fantastically. On the note of that, I also have, which are all unwound, a cheap multimeter. This is extremely cheap. This was like $8 at Walmart, and I should probably get a better one, but I haven't yet. But this has done the job so far. Highly recommend this. This always comes with me as well, just to make sure I can test connections. I can see if we're getting voltage across connections. I can test current if I need to. Very, very useful in car audio, especially if you're chasing down wire gremlins. Let's see, if I'm doing work with bigger wires, I'll bring this. This is just a heat gun. Obviously, it's a decently nice one. I picked it up basically a yard sale. My aunt was closing down her house and she had this. It was unopened, so I bought it for pretty cheap. So I got a good deal on it. I highly recommend them. It works so much better than using like a blowtorch or something, and you could just heat and shrink, heat shrink so much better, faster, easier, and more reliably with one of these. So I highly recommend this also, but it's not a necessity. It's not what I keep with everything else. I also do have a propane torch, which I take if I need to solder lugs. I always solder my 1/0 lugs and 4-gauge lugs. 8-gauge I'll crimp and under, but 4-gauge and up I always solder, which means I have to melt the solder with this and with a propane bottle. So those I kind of take with me, but not always. Got tons of extra wire in here, as you can see. Old stuff from installs. I've got some extra pipe for my car, which I'll just remove. Maybe I'll remove it. Alright, keep it so I don't get pieces of wire everywhere. Another good thing to have is CA glue with some activator. This can be extremely helpful when you need to just quickly adhere something to, that is not a word, quickly adhere something to something else. CA glue is amazing. This is obviously from Easy Fabrication, and this is the CA medium strength with their Kick It, which is their CA activator, and they make medium, slow, and fast, I believe, and they all work great. I really like this company. They make some good stuff. Check them out if you haven't already. They're kind of a newer company, but this is more for fabrication, not necessarily stuff I'd always take with me. I got some more Sky-Hi Car Audio 9-core. I've got old 6-lug connectors from Sky-Hi. These are actually to my header pipes. Let's get into this. If you're doing wire work and big custom stuff, you need a soldering iron with some 60/40 solder. 60/40 is obviously the best electrical grade, so keep 60/40 on you for small connections and a soldering iron. This is a nice one. I need to get a better one at some point, but this does work. Done a lot of soldering with this. So that's one of the things where if I need it, I will take this, and this will come with me with its soldering stuff. Some more extras. All right, so here's a big one, and I've gotta give it to Car Audio Fabrication for this one. This is Tesa tape, and Tesa tape, if you don't know, is a fabric-like tape, so it doesn't make any rubbing noise. You can hear it's fabric. It has really good adhesion. You can use it to wrap up wires, which is why I use it for. As you can see, I have quite a few rolls of Tesa tape. I have another one somewhere actually, but it's much smaller. This is great for making looms. It makes the looms look amazing. This is actually 3 different rolls of tape that I bought. It's not too expensive. I believe I got this off of, where did I get it? I'll have to find it and it'll be in the description on where I got this. I absolutely love Tesa tape. This is 3/4 inch Tesa tape. This works amazing and it makes the installs and wire jobs look so good, especially when they're underneath the carpet, and it keeps them from rattling. So this is an always take if I'm doing wiring jobs. Next one, big one, zip ties. You cannot have enough zip ties. Zip ties are a car audio installer's best friend. They may not look the cleanest, but there are some cases where you just need to zip tie something down, where you need to hold it in place, hold it up underneath the frame of a car, zip tie 2 wires together, keep them from moving. They're just a necessity, and unless you're gonna use something all the time, like these wire organizers from Jim's Machine Works, then you need zip ties. They're great for if you're throwing a system together to test it. You can just slap everything together, clean it up later. That's how a car audio system usually is. You're gonna put it together and then you're gonna keep working on it and keep working on it until it's clean. And zip ties are amazing for doing that. Got some other stuff. An old SMD quad fuse block. I got new ones in my car. Some gasket, which is good. This is great fat gasket just for when I'm making sealed boxes, put underneath the subwoofer. Just because I don't have a ton of the proper tools to make it, so this works to make sure your box is sealed, because that is obviously very important. I've got some 1 1/4 inch screws, and I also have some 2-inch screws. 2 very important things to also keep on hand. I've got electrical tape. That's a must. Always bring electrical tape. You're gonna need to tape off connections sometimes. Oh, here's my other little roll of Tesa. But always bring some electrical tape. You're always gonna have to tape off connections if you're redoing installs, tape off power and ground so that they don't shock on anywhere or short anywhere. So this is a must. Extra connections, these are all spade bits. I use these a lot on my car. I have some distributors for just my small power switches and everything. I'll take these most of the time probably if I'm working on stuff. This is some big heat shrink, which I can go into what this is about, but this is just some massive heat shrink. Here's my big 2-inch screws, big box of them. Use those for holding in subs. They're just construction grade screws. They're nothing special. Tons of extra 1/0, some needle nose pliers, which don't necessarily belong in here, but these are always good to have. More electrical tape. And that is basically, those are basically the things that I will bring if I'm doing a car audio job, assuming that they're bringing their own wire. Now, here's some other extra stuff. Some SMD screws in there, some random bits and pieces. Now I'm gonna kind of talk about stuff that I just think is good to carry. Ooh, here's some Sky High Car Audio metal logos. I need to find a place for these little guys. So things that I like to always keep a stock of when I'm working. I have recently fallen in love with TechFlex. If you don't know what TechFlex is, it's this stuff that expands to go around wire, and it just makes it look super clean. You kind of see here, so it'll go around some wire like so, and it slips over it and it'll protect the wire, and it'll just help it look a little bit better, keep it cleaner. These wear out, the coatings on these, so you need to protect it some way. Got extra LEDs in here for the truck. I've got more LEDs put in it. Got some dual 1/0 to single 1/0 amplifier stuff, but let's get in this. Stuff that I always like to carry. Of course, I carry extra 1/0. Got some white Sky High Car Audio here. Always carry extra 1/0. I always carry extra wire for powers and grounds. Maybe something's not fitting right, I just want to look cleaner. Always carry extra 1/0. I've got blue and white, which are the 2 colors of the car right now for my wire. Keep everything coordinated. Always, I find to always just order more wire than you need so you have extra stuff. You can see there's a ton of white 1/0 hiding down here. Hole saws are always good. Here's some big TechFlex. That's for a project that I can show you guys. Another thing, heat shrink. Always carry tons of heat shrink. This is a whole bag of 8 gauge and 4 gauge heat shrink. I've got bags of orange and green 1/0 heat shrink. You can see here, there's a lot in there. Blue heat shrink. These are light bar stuff. Here's more blue TechFlex. Love this stuff. Highly recommend TechFlex. Extra lugs, which I am apparently running out of, but extra lugs. For 1/0, for whatever, especially 8 gauge lugs. You will go through so many 8 gauge lugs if you run it, and of course I do. Gotta keep up the 8 gauge. If you know John Rabe, you know what I'm talking about. I carry all the time. Let's see, try and keep this moderately organized while I'm going through it. Mask is always a good thing to keep. Obviously when you're building boxes, MDF is a big hazard, so always keep MDF or a mask with you. This is just some extra cheap vinyl. Move that. I got more 1/0, more old battery connections. Got some Sky-Hi Car Audio 4 core, which if you don't know what that is, it's 4 tiny wires inside of a bigger casing. Love this. I have it in 4 core and 9 core. It helps to make bigger installs look extremely clean. I've got these 2. Let's see, I've got extra speaker wire. Extra speaker wire is always good in all sorts of sizes. You can see this is actually remote wire, but extra speaker wire. Always keep that. I've got extra sub wire over here in 8 gauge. Sky-Hi Car Audio 8 gauge. Got this whole roll of extra 8 gauge. Can't keep enough 8 gauge. Always want to have 8 gauge. If you have excess power batteries, always keep a couple handles so you can move them around quickly and easily. I keep a ton of this remote wire, Sky-Hi remote wire on hand as well, in the 4 colors that I chose to run in my system. I run this throughout my entire custom center console, which you guys will see soon when I get the truck back. And this stuff is great. It's great for wiring it up. You can buy it in bulk for like 200 feet of wire for 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks or something, depending on the deals that are going on. Always love this stuff. Keep it around. Got some extra 4 gauge in here. Down here, just in pink. My colors used to be pink and blue, which is why I have so much pink wire. That's why my alternators are pink and blue. Let's see, let's dig around here a little bit more. I think I got some more stuff in this box. I do. So this is extra connections. I've got extra battery terminals, some 4-spot Sky-Hi and aluminum. I've got some of my old switches. Always keep this stuff, don't throw it away. You can always use these switches, these little 3-prong switches in a ton of places. Extra butt connectors, which I prefer to solder, but butt connectors work for getting stuff together. Fuses, always keep extra fuses. I've got a bag of them in case any of my fuses blow. Let's see, I've got more switches. I've got some silicone grease, which is a big plus. Actually, if you're doing connections, I would put that over here with stuff I always bring. Silicone grease can just help with your connections, keep them from rusting out. Great stuff to keep on you. I've got extra connectors, some 4 gauge to 1/0 stuff, which I actually might throw these on the CT Sounds 125.4s. I'll have to see if these fit. These might be going on CT Sounds 125.4s. And yeah, I think that's about what's in my big box of car audio gear. I keep pretty well stocked on just about everything. As I work on my truck a lot, I'm redoing wiring on the truck a lot. I just always have something to work on, and I've kind of built up this collection of stuff over about 4 years of doing car audio. Obviously, I've just got old stuff from builds. I've got older SMD fuse blocks from builds, stuff that just came with alternator kits, and just some stuff that I've acquired over the years, like a heat gun. Didn't start out with that, just started out using a propane torch. Activator is always good for custom projects. Just all sorts of stuff. So get all this stuff put back into the box, all of that, all the Tesa tape, the SMD, multimeter silicone grease, clippers, and the soldering stuff. So there it is, my extremely heavy box. This thing weighs at least 70 pounds. All of my audio stuff. This is all the stuff I keep to just work on the truck. Extra parts, as you saw, extra wire, extra connections, extra lugs. I actually need to order more 8-gauge lugs. I'm completely out of those, as you saw, and my subwoofer wire is 8-gauge, so it's very important I keep some extra stuff of that. So, always keep this stocked. Let me know what's in your box, if there's anything in your car audio box that you would add to this one that I don't have. I'm always looking for new tools to grab. Alright, so there you go. That was my car audio box. It has everything that I keep with me. There's some couple other odds and ends, but that's basically all the stuff for car audio that I take when I'm going to work on a car or work on my own car, and all the extra goodies I keep if I need to do anything on my car. Again, if you enjoy the video, please leave a like. Please subscribe if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you guys more for some new videos soon.